Okay, this is the first part of the raindrop experiment. As you can see, I have put my raindrops in 2 coasters. They are set. I will leave, however, overnight. Tomorrow I will cover in mica powder and 2-part resin. Then I will leave it 24 hours to set. Once it's done, we'll take it out and A, see how the effect works out, and B, if it does or does not mark the moulds, because people are worried that using UV on your moulds will leave marks on your mould, so then every time you use a mould after, you're going to get the raindrop effect. So we shall see, but this is part 1. Look out for part 2. Okay, as you can see, I have coloured this in gold. I have coloured this in chameleon. I have used the Let's Resin metallic powder for the gold and the Rose Affair chameleon, as I don't have the Let's Resin chameleon powders yet. We will be topping it up with the black mica powder that I got off Amazon. So yeah, that's where we are for now. We'll record the next bit shortly. So here we go. Okay, we're back. As I said, I am using today the Let's Resin Fast Cure Epoxy Resin. It is a 4-hour demold, bubble free, crystal clear, self-leveling formula, mold friendly, and you get 2 10-ounce bottles, which gives you 20 ounce of resin. Hope you can see that clear enough. And we are filled with the black pigment, and there's no bubbles, none at all, and that has just been mixed. So we are now going to give that to my assistant out of the way, and we are going to pour this into these moulds, slow but sure, and you can see for yourselves. And then we will leave them, and 24 hours later we will come back. I mean, it's a lovely, lovely thick resin. So we'll pour that little bit into there and leave that to level while we pour some into the other mould. And the resin goes a long way. I apologise if there's any noise in the background. We'll tap those down to make sure there are no bubbles. And we will top those moulds up. I mixed up 100 millilitres of resin, and I don't think it's going to take that. As you can see, yes, some of the gold mica powder has come up the sides, but that was to be expected because this is a metallic that is now full to the rim. If I put any more in, it's going to overflow. So I'll put a tiny bit more in this one, and I mean a tiniest amount. I'm not sure if the table's level, to be fair. This seems to be all at one end, but the other one seems level, so we'll just put a bit more in and go from there. Oops, I didn't mean to go over the edge like that. Let's clear that up. So I think there's about there, maybe a nut whisker more. It's a case of if you put an in too much, it's going to overflow, but let's just get that off there. There we go. is there any bubbles? If there is, we can just pop them, but it does say bubble free. I can see a couple just here, so we'll just very gently burst those with our lighter. Be careful when you're using these, never to go near the edge, and if you're using alcohol inks, do not use this. Right, we will leave that for a few minutes, and while we do that, excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. We will just let that settle for a few minutes, see how the bubbles go, and then we'll give it a blast with some rubbing alcohol, and then we will leave it to set for 24 hours. So yeah, we'll just leave those to set a moment while, you know, we see if any bubbles come to the surface, and if not, we'll spritz some with some rubbing alcohol that I have here, isopropanol alcohol. So we'll see how that goes. Just give that a spritz, and then I will stop the video and come back tomorrow when it is set for 24 hours, and we'll see how it goes. But I'm quite looking forward to this. I'll get my assistant to move these to where we leave them to set very carefully, because I think I put a little bit too much in that one. Yes, the gold mica has come to the top, but I think if we give that a slight stir like that, that will actually have a nice effect. I don't want to touch down to the bottom because I do not want to disturb those raindrops, but I think if we do this where that mica's overflowed, that will actually give a nice marble effect. So for now we will leave it there, and again thanks Let Resin for the resin, and we'll go from there. This is part 3 of the Let Resin Raindrop Experiment. As you know, we started off with the J Diction UV resin, because I didn't have any Let Resin UV resin to do the raindrops. And then we did mica powder and chameleon. We used the Let Resin gold metallic powder on this one, and we used another firm's chameleon, because again I don't have any Let Resin chameleon at this point. And then we topped up with the, can you tell your dad to shut up? Then we topped up with the Let Resin fast cure resin, which we mixed black mica powder in with, and as you know, some of the gold came up, so we did a swirl effect. So be interesting to see how that comes out. From what I can see, they look very good. As you can see, it's been 24 hours and they are rock solid. So I will unmold the one that has the chameleon powder in first. But as you know, the majority of the products in this are Let Resin. So, oh my God. That resin, that Let Resin, I can't say it enough about that fast cure. It is bubble free. I mean, I know it looks like it's got bubbles, but that's the raindrop effect. But this is rock solid. It's completely crystal clear. And there are no bubbles apart from the raindrops. But look at that. I mean, the camera doesn't do it justice, but you can see how the mic is changing from dark to green, and there's the back. Is that not just absolutely gorgeous? And it is a good size for your cup. So there's the first one. I will have my assistant take pictures and we'll post them at the end of the video. Now this one, remember, had the Let Resin gold metallic and the Let Resin fast cure. So let's see how this one came out. I'm really excited. Oh my god. It needs a bit of trimming on the edges, but as you can see, I'm just peeling them off with my fingers. Oh, look at that, how that is mixed with that black. And again, it's crystal clear. And then look at the front. Oh my god, that's adorable. Wasn't sure how the raindrops would work with a metallic or how the black would. They always tell you to put black powder behind your chameleons because it helps show them up. But I wasn't sure how it would work with the gold. But that has really, really made that gold more gold. I know it looks like there's bubbles here, but there's not. It's where, when I've done the raindrops, they've dripped down the UV. But to me, that looks more like raindrops, because raindrops do that. There is not one bubble. It is crystal clear. And as you can hear, it's rock solid. It just fits a cup. But I want to try a tumbler. Now, for your tumbler, that's the perfect size, look. The other one fits both the mug, and as I've just finished this, my assistant says a tumbler fits inside the rim. So, you can use it for a cup or a tumbler. Or just as a trinket tray. Throw it on your desk, put your wax in it when you're diamond painting, or whatever. But I haven't done the raindrop effect before. This is my first attempt and I'm amazed. Now, the true question is, I was asked if it marks the moulds. Yes. This one, it has left an impression. I'll get my son to take a picture because you can't see it in this light. But if you turn to a certain light, yes, it has. But it's not... It's left a mark, but it's not an indentation, so I don't think it would come out on another piece of resin. But what we'll do is we'll do a thin layer of UV with, not alcohol, with a colour. Because, you know, UV is funny about colour, but if we use the liquid pigment, we could do a small UV layer in there. And we'll see whether it does leave the raindrops on it. But yes, on this one, you can see where the UV was. On this one, however, you cannot. I will have my son do a close-up picture and hopefully we can catch that. But even though it's left the dots where the raindrops was, it's smooth. So I don't think it will come out in the resin. But as I said, I'll have my son do a thin layer later of the UV, because we can set that quicker, and we'll see if it has leaving an impression on the resin. But if it does, we'll just keep these for doing the raindrop effect. It's as simple as that. They're not completely ruined, but again, those are just amazing. And thank you, Let's Resin, for your heat mats, for your fast cure resin, and for all the amazing moulds that you do. Thank you for allowing me to work with you, and I can't wait to work with you again. As for now, if you can't look after yourself, how you can look after anybody else. And as always, love, peace and harmony.